Joining me right now is the chairman of the Democratic National Committee, Tom Perez. Good to see you, Mr. Chairman.
Maria, it's great to be back with you.
Thank you so much for joining us. We've had many years of talking about jobs when you were in the Labor Department. Congratulations on your new job.
Thank you.
Tell me your priorities for the Democratic Party.
Well, we need to make sure we're building a strong party everywhere. We have to redefine our mission from simply electing the President of the United States to working to build strong parties so that we can elect people from the school board to the Senate. We got involved in a state Senate race in Delaware, for instance, recently, where the fate of that state Senate hung in the balance. We were able to help that Democrat win and keep the state Senate in Democratic hands. And when you build strong parties everywhere, when you're helping to recruit good candidates, when you're leading with your values and your actions and out there talking about what Democrats stand for, building a strong middle class, making sure that everybody has that opportunity to realize the American dream, that's how we succeed. And that's exactly what we're going to do.
But there's a question right now in terms of where the Democratic Party's priorities are. You make all the right comments in terms of helping the broad America, but your party has been pulled all the way to the left, Tom. So are you going to govern with the Bernie Sanders, Elizabeth Warren type of governance, or are you going to be more moderate like a Bill and Hillary Clinton?
Our party is all about making sure that people have access to the American dream. As Dr. King once said, the best civil right is a good job.
So does that mean 75% tax rates? Does that mean Bernie Sanders 75% tax rates?
That means access to health care for people. That means that the age tax, which is this proposal to repeal the Affordable Care Act, it's an age tax. If you're 50 or over, that 64-year-old who's making $25,000 a year and is looking at a $12,000 increase in his or her premium, that's what the Democrats are fighting for. Health care that is fair for everyone, not a break for the wealthy. This is, if you're an insurance executive, you love the Trump care, the Ryan care, I don't care, whatever they're calling this new plan. And Democrats are fighting for health care. Democrats are fighting to make sure that when you lose your job, if you lose your job, you can get trained to get a better job. And the Labor Department, the budget released today, cuts the Labor Department by 20%, including cutting funding for job training. This president campaigned on, I'm going to help the average person get ahead.
Yeah.
When you cut that funding so that if somebody is a displaced worker, we used to retrain them so they punch their ticket back to the middle class. That was a key to President Obama's success, and they want to undermine that.
Well, Tom, let's face it. I mean, when you talk about President Obama's success, we can go through the economy, and it actually did not perform the way a lot of people wanted it to, below 3% for 8 years. But that's one point. You said Democrats want health care for everybody. That's what Republicans are trying to do right now, Tom. To be fair, premiums are rising this year as a result of Obamacare. You look at Arizona up 116%. So what's the answer there? It looks like Republicans are trying to make sure the broad public has health care.
I think we need to level set here. President Obama inherited carnage, the worst recession of our lifetime. 2.4 million jobs lost. We used to do the jobs reports together.
Yes.
8 years ago, last Friday, over 700,000 jobs were lost. The unemployment rate heading toward 10%. Now the unemployment rate that Barack Obama left to Donald Trump was 4.8%. The economy had 75 months in a row of job growth. And so we're moving clearly in the right direction, clearly more work to do. But, so it's important to understand that. In the Affordable Care Act setting, look at, they said it was a job killer. No, it wasn't. It was a lifesaver. And this particular proposal.
None of it was a lifesaver. There were a number of managers, Tom, truthfully, who cut full-time to part-time, who cut jobs from, because they didn't want more than 50 employees. They called them the 49ers because they didn't want to be forced to offer health care because it was too expensive. That's why they call it a job killer.
But Maria, look, I mean, because we did job reports, we have to look at facts, okay? Not alternative facts, okay? The facts are, since the Affordable Care Act passed, we saw job growth of over 16 million jobs. And one of the sectors that was the strongest sector was the healthcare sector. 2 million jobs gained in the health sector. And could the Affordable Care Act be improved? Absolutely. Anyone who wants to improve it, that's great. But look at what this bill does. This bill will cut insurance to literally 16 million people in the first year. If you are 50 years or over, the age tax is going to screw you. If you are 65 or over, you got $2,000 or so in relief on your prescription drug benefits, that's going away.
Yeah.
And ask the senior who depended on that $2,000.
And to be fair, the Republicans are also pushing back on this Obamacare replacement bill. they're also pushing back on Paul Ryan. I get that. And yesterday, the House Speaker joined me, Speaker Paul Ryan, and he talked about this. Listen to what he said. I want to get your reaction.
Democrats created Obamacare. Democrats don't want to get rid of Obamacare. Democrats know Obamacare is collapsing, and what they prefer is Medicaid for all. What they prefer is single payer. So we know that the architects of Obamacare aren't going to work with us to get rid of this law and replace it with a decentralized, local control, free market, patient-centered system. That is not what Democrats want.
And this is one of the broader issues, and I really want you to speak to this for a moment, because the truth is, Mr. Chairman, the Democrats have been obstructionists this entire Trump presidency. Look how long it took them to confirm his cabinet members. Look at all of the rhetoric coming out. It's all, we're not going to participate, we're not going to help, we're not going to give any votes. That's not what the American people want.
The Democrats are fighting for core American values. We now have a second set of judges that struck down the unconstitutional ban. We now, you look, if you...
But is that political? Is that all political?
Oh, hell no. When you violate the Constitution...
How is it a violation of the Constitution?
Oh, my goodness.
First of all, the 6 countries, that list came from President Obama.
But ask the Republican judge who struck it down the first time, and you will see Republican and Democratic judges the second time. This doesn't make America safer, and it doesn't make our democracy any better. That is why judges, Republican appointees and Democratic appointees, are striking it down.